Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the video. This is a paid request, this time for Yule. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, topics, reactions, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below. Like I said, pretty much under any of these videos. Now, this is for a film called Wheels on Meals from around 1984, directed by Sammo Hung and starring Jackie Chan, Yuen Biao, and Sammo Hung. Now, this is a film I had heard of for many, many years. I had seen bits and pieces of, so it's nice to finally see the film all the way through. And overall, I did enjoy it. I did like it. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorite Jackie Chan films, but I did find it an enjoyable movie. Pretty much Jackie Chan and Yuen Biao, they are cousins that run this food van, and they're just working away their business. One day they meet this lady who pretends to be a hooker, but she pickpockets and steals people money. She even steals Jackie Chan Yuen Bao's money when they try to help her out. And then you find out these bad guys are after her, because apparently she is, unbeknownst to her, inherited this money from this rich dad that she never really knew. And the bad guys, their leader, wants her out of the way and her mom out of the way so that he could get the money all to himself. Meanwhile, you got Sammo Hung as this private investigator who was tasked to find this girl and is also friends with Jackie and Yun, and then the three of them join together. And by the end, they have to go into this castle to rescue the girl. Now, I didn't know that apparently this is one of the inspirations for the Kung Fu video game. You know, Kung Fu for arcade for NES. Because at the game, I believe the lead guy is Thomas, and then the girl you have to save is Sylvia. Just like here, Jackie Chan's character is Thomas, and the girl you have to save is Sylvia. But nothing else about it is like the game Kung Fu. Because, I mean, the way it goes up is more like Game of Death. So I guess it's like, I guess take loose inspiration from Wheels on Meals, but then also do it like Game of Death. Like, but I didn't know it had any connection to that Kung Fu video game. And yes, it's called Wheels on Meals. You're like, well, that title doesn't make sense. Well, it was Meals on Wheels, which makes sense in the movie because Jackie Chan goes on a skateboard to deliver the food to everyone. Plus, it's a food van, so they can go anywhere they want. But I guess at the time, the studio, they had flopped with films that start with M. I think Megaforce was one of them and such. So, because they had a lot of these films starting with an M that flopped, I guess as a superstition, they're like, don't have it start with an M, have it start with a W. Thus, your Wheels on Meals, which it didn't. Doesn't make sense as a title, but that's why they changed it to that. Now, it's always great to see Jackie Chan in his prime, and Yuen Biao is a very talented guy as well, very adept at agility, and just, you know, the way they train at the beginning, how fast and quick they are, how in their stretches or push-ups, and they like spar a little bit, just how quick they are back and forth. They're just so in tune with each other. And it's just these guys in their physical prime is very fun to see. And Sammo, he definitely makes him more, he makes himself more as the comedic quality of the movie, which I guess is commendable because he is the director. So as the director, he could have had an ego and said, no, I'm the badass, I'm going to be the lead, I can't get hit. But no, he gets hit a lot. He gets embarrassed a lot. You know, he takes the piss out of himself. And Sammo Hung, I mean, even he's done a lot of stuff I liked. I liked the TV show he did, Martial Law. I'm looking at the show there. Lasted like 2 seasons. Arsenio Hall was in that show for a bit. But I really like Martial Law. He did a film called Eastern Condors, sort of their version of the Delta Force. No, not Delta Force. not the Delta Force. The one with Lee Marvin. That's not the Delta Force. The Dirty Dozen. Their version of the Dirty Dozen. Although I could see these guys doing their version of the Delta Force, that would have been pretty cool actually. But Eastern Condors, Eastern Condors is Sammo Hung's version of the Dirty Dozen. Prisoners that go in on this this expedition. If you like martial arts, highly recommend Eastern Condors. Really good movie. Enter the Fat Dragon, which is a fun take on Bruceploitation. That's a fun movie. I'm not talking about the one with Donnie Yen. This is one from the 80s, 70s or 80s. I forget which year it came out. Enter the Fat Dragon. But he's definitely, as the private investigator, like the first time we see him, like, I swear he had the Soul Glow hair, from Coming to America. That Soul Glow. It's like little Jerry curl with grease. I'm like, why does he look like, he's ready to say, Tutti Frutti, I'm Rudy. Yeah. Little Richard hair. But yeah, Sammo, then when you first see him, I can't help it. The first time I see his hair, it's like, he got that Soul Glow. And also, it's interesting this takes place in Spain. Just for I understand, at the time they could not shoot in Hong Kong because things were so busy, so expensive, and they were so famous that people would keep stopping them all the time. But they looked at people like Bruce Lee. Like Bruce Lee shot in, was it Greece? For The Way of the Dragon, Return of the Dragon. That, okay, we're going to shoot in Spain here and have it take place in Spain. Which worked out, because it had at least a bit of a different backdrop for the proceedings. And when Jackie Chan and Yuen are doing their job with the food van, and Jackie's does a nice job utilizing the skateboard. Now, I will be honest, I don't know how much Jackie did the skateboard stuff. Because I did find it interesting that with the edits, a lot of times Jackie does do some cool stuff, but a lot of times they'll cut to his feet, and you figure, okay, it's Jackie Chan, you would do it all in one shot, him doing all this stuff in one shot. That's why I kind of wonder, how much did he do with the skateboard? Obviously, he's able to do some tricks, just there's some nice wide shots with him, the skateboard, but again, that made me wonder, like, how much did he do it, and if we have those up-close shots of his feet, is that perhaps another person was much more adept at skateboards? Because I don't know. I know there's the whole thing that Jackie Chan does everything himself, but someone was telling me that there's some proof that that wasn't always the case. I forget who told me, but someone said that there's some proof that it wasn't always the case that Jackie did all of his stunts. I don't know if that's true, but this is what some people are saying now. So again, it makes me wonder, looking at this, like, some of these up-close shots, did he do some of that? Well, like I said, there's some wide shots that you do see him. So he was capable enough on the skateboard, and it's an interesting idea having Jackie on a skateboard. Especially in, this is 84, like, this is like before the days of Tony Hawk and so forth. At least I think so. I don't know when Tony Hawk started, actually, so maybe I'm wrong. I just always think of Tony Hawk like in the 90s, because I think of like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but I actually don't know when he started, now that I think about it. But there's some nice shots, like he flips onto the skateboard, and he's skateboarding around, giving food, and I did enjoy the bit where these motorcycle punks are screwing with them and their business, and they kick them, and like Jackie does this nice kick that takes the guy's, gets his ass right off the fucking motorcycle. I thought that was fun. I will say one of the things I didn't care for, or I didn't think it was that interesting, was this whole bit where, and it does lead into the plot to be fair, where Yuen Biao's dad is in a mental asylum. So they go to a mental asylum and they talk to some of these people, and you get this really, I thought, kind of, there's always goofy humor in this, but I thought it was just kind of lame humor, where there's like a guy doing this. Why are you doing that? I'm a clock. What time is it? Blah blah blah. Oh, actually, it's 15 minutes after that. Oh, I need to go quicker, and he's bouncing his head back and forth quicker. You know, stuff like that, like the tit-tot. I think he called himself tit-tot or something. I don't know about that. I'm like, okay, it's their attempt at humor, but it's like, I just didn't think it was that funny. And like I said, that's when they meet afterward. They're working, and the reason they had that bit of mental assignment is to set up Yuen Biao's dad, and that the dad has a girlfriend named Gloria, and Gloria will be a major component later on. Well, not major, but she'll become an important component later on. Sammo Hung, I mean, he did some moments to shine. I kind of think he did himself a little bit disservice. I wish he gave himself a little bit more to shine. And I wish Sammo was in the film more with our two leads. He is in the second half of the film, but it's not until 45 minutes in when the three of them are together. And I thought that was a shame. I mean, just again, I always saw bits and pieces of the film, so I didn't know that they were separated, and then it took like 45 minutes for them to finally get together. So I kind of wish they were either together from the start or got together earlier. But yeah, like 45 minutes in. Because again, he's hired to find this girl, and he asks this guy who's like a pimp named Fatso. Meanwhile, Jackie and Yoon find this girl who pickpockets people. They don't really know that yet. They try to help her. You tell that both of them kind of have a crush on her. Next morning, she stole their money. And the one guy, Yuen Biao, he really is a simp for the Sylvia lady. Like, even though she stole their money, he's like, oh, I want to find her so I can give her more money. Okay, calm down, Will Simp. Calm down. You don't need another Jada Pink Slip. Calm down. I will say for a good chunk of the film, like the action is not action-packed. I just, for some reason, I thought it'd be much more action-packed than it was. Just like I said, the first half of the film, you do get little bits here and there. You get, again, Jackie and Yoon messed up these punts for, about 15 seconds. Yeah, Sam will find some people for like another 20 seconds while Sylvia escapes. You have a bit where after the money's been stolen, they see her again and she's being chased by these guys, and they fight the guys, and fun, minute or so fight until they realize that the people they're beating up got their stuff stolen from Sylvia, so they get grabbed and their shirts get torn off and they are run for it. It's like these little bits, but they're not grand, memorable. Like, ooh, it's kind of fun, but they go by so quick. They didn't leave as much of an impact compared to other, like Rumble in the Bronx, and that stuff. Super Cop. I would say kind of the fun of watching the film is seeing Jackie and Yuen Biao work together. And this might have been one of the, maybe not the first, but one of the early instances of because I think there was also Project A as well, where you get to see all three of them work together. And I like the idea of the skateboard and the food van. I like that concept. And also a great asset is one of the bad guys is Benny the Jet Urquidez. And Benny the Jet is no joke. Like, Benny the Jet is legitimate as all fuck. And after a bunch of other stuff happens, they get into the castle. There's a fight between Benny the Jet and Jackie that is easily one of Jackie's best fights. Easily top three. I mean, trying to think of like a fight that might be better. I mean, the fight in Legend of Drunken Master is really good as well. It's hard to beat that fight. But this is up there. I mean, if you're talking about action sequence, I mean, the ending of Police Story is pretty damn cool with so much fucking glass being thrown everywhere in that mall. But I mean, just that one-on-one fight. I mean, this is pretty up there. Like, this is pretty damn badass because you have two people in their prime that know what they're doing, going so fast, so quick. Pop, 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 pop. Just, I'm like, god damn. Like, there must have been a lot of fucking bruises afterward. A lot of, like, clippings. Clip a nose here, clip a cheek here. Because they're just going so fast, so close, so high impact between Jackie Chan and Benny Jet. It's a marvel to watch. And of course, you have that great bit where at one point there's these candles, they're lit. At one point, Jackie ducks while Benny Jet does a kick, and he went so fast it blew out all the candles, and that was legitimate. They blew out all the candles. Whew. I mean, that really is a showstopper. If nothing else, see the film just for that fight alone. Very hard hitting. It's not that goofy. It's not that silly. They're really going at each other back and forth. Both getting bruised up. And like I said, at the very least, that fight is no joke. And if nothing else, see it for that. Like I said, I think Sammo Hung, he shortchanged himself a little bit. Because he doesn't really get a standout fight. It seems like he's about to, because he's fighting this bad guy, and it's a nice moment where they both have fencing swords, and they're going back and forth very quick. At one point, Sammo Hung gets two swords, but then he needs help from the other two, and then all three of them stop the bad guy. And Yuen Biao, he has a fight, which is fine, but just felt a bit less interesting when you have such a showstopper. Like, this don't sound crude, but the fight this Jackie Chan and Benny the Jet have, the movie came too soon. You just say that was the big ejaculation of the movie. And so then when you have this other stuff, it's like, you just got your big pulse-pounding sequence, and now, okay, there's just, yeah, go ahead, you have your fight. Yeah, you go ahead and have that. That's not to take away, because Yuen Biao is very talented, very agile. It's still nice to see, just nowhere near the showstopper of the Jackie versus Benny the Jet fight. And I guess when I heard, before I saw this, I heard that was influenced by Kung Fu. I thought maybe it would have a bit of that, but that's more Game of Death. But it would have a bit of that going up the levels of the castle, and there'd be a lot more fighting, a lot more bad guys. But not really. I mean, Yun gets caught very quickly. Sammo and Jackie sneak in. You get some funny bits, like Sammo thinks Jackie's a bad guy, accidentally hits him, stuff like that. But there's not a whole lot of fighting, just Jackie gets found out, and then Sammo comes in, and then they fight a little bit, but it's mainly Jackie fighting Benny the Jet, Yun fighting this other guy, and then Sammo trying to fight the fencing guy. Like I said, I wish there was a lot more bad guys that to really go full out. Like, all three of them fighting together. I think they missed out on that. Like, all three of them, back to back to back. You have a good scene where all three of them fighting and helping each other. And maybe in the midst, kind of like what you see in Rush Hour 2. In Rush Hour 2 with Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. And you have something like, maybe Jackie accidentally hits Sammo Hung. You say maybe it was a dip back for Sammo accidentally hitting Jackie earlier in the castle. But during the fight, Jackie actually hits him, and then maybe Yuen Biao accidentally hits him. You guys stop hitting me! Like, they actually keep hitting Sammo, but then they're fighting the bad guys. I think that type of fight would have been really... I would love to have seen that type of stuff. I think that's a missed opportunity. You got the three of them, have all three of them fight all these bad guys and get a really standout scene, and then go into your separate. And have Sammo fight the fencing guy himself and win. If Jackie can fight Benny the Jet and win by himself, if Yuen can fight this other guy and win by himself, like have the fight that Yuen has with the other guy a bit more expansive, because it seems a bit quicker and shorter than Jackie's fight. And Sammo let him... Maybe he's tired of being made fun of by this fencing guy. He's tired of everyone making fun of him. So that's when he gets serious and fights all these bad guys and fights... I think, like I said, Sammo, I think, shortchanged himself a little bit. Yuen would have been nice to see a bit of a bigger fight for him to have. Don't touch the Benny the Jet Jackie fight. That's excellent. And have like one scene with the three of them like fighting all these bad guys in this one big, like the dining set with the big long table. That would have been a perfect location. All these bad guys come in and they're fighting, and then they get together, and yeah, I could just see the shot. All three of them back to back, and the camera twirling around. I wanted more from the film. I liked the film. It was fun for what it was. I probably, if I were to rewatch the film, I would watch the Jackie Benny the fight scene on YouTube. I mean, the rest of the film was fun enough because I enjoy these actors. I enjoy these martial artists. It's not too overlong of a film, but I guess it's not like I went in with crazy expectations, but I guess I was expecting a little bit more out of it. And I didn't get that, but still, if you're a Jackie Chan fan, if you never see it, it's easily worth a watch. Like I said, I was expecting and hoping a bit more out of it, but that's just me. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.